Beyond the Wild.
No, they may be. Yeah, I don't know.
Who's selling them? Yeah, where they're made is a different question.
Well, I got them off Amazon, and like a 3-pack was like $12. So
I think you overpaid.
I probably did. That's very common for me.
I have heard nothing but good. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Wild podcast.
Hey, boys.
Where Jason Loftus is sporting his brand new.
I should have the name. That was really dumb of me.
You should.
Give me a minute to look it up. I will say it's a Dragonfly Decoy, for lack of a better term.
Mark Raycroft, would you like to elaborate?
I don't remember either. You're like your little buddy or something. It was some kind of...
I'm looking. Keep chatting. I will give it here.
You guys are terrible.
All right, let's see.
But they do work.
Just a few minutes ago, boys and girls, we talked about contacting these guys for sponsorship. And now Jason and Mark, who both have these items, and not only have them, but have them in their possession on camera, can't remember what they're called.
Okay, so here it is what it's called. 3-piece outdoor decoration dragonfly clip, 3D simulation dragonfly. Realistic garden decoration clip. Creative hat clip, natural organic concept.
I don't think that's their real name.
It's called the Wingman, isn't it?
Wingman. There you go.
Well, that's not the brand I bought. That's probably why mine was so much more money, is I didn't buy the off-brand Wingman.
No, I'm getting some like Harlequin romance books right now on Wingman. Sorry, I'm looking up to see what I can find.
Okay, I think you two should stop.
Careful where you search, yeah. But
I
will say this. I put one out by my back door because I heard somebody say that it'll help with flies getting in your house. And as long as it's in kind of the breezy area where it can get some movement, it seems to be working. I don't know so far if it's just, coincidence. But I did take it out and shoot with it on the island. And I got a lot of funny looks, as I'm sure everybody that's watching the YouTube is laughing right now. But the horse flies out there, the deer flies, they are terrible. And they bite hard. And they land on you, stick, and bite. They don't run when you try to swat at them, anything. So I tried it out there, and it was surprisingly effective. I had it on my hat just like I do right now, and I never had one issue with a horsefly or a deer fly. And to test it, I took it off and went out again and immediately started getting bit. So I was surprised. I think it's effective. Now, there's lots of dragonflies flying around out there. Dragonfly Wingman. Yeah, I don't think I bought that brand, but there was lots of dragonflies flying around out there, so I don't know if it's probably matters if it's an area where the bugs are used to seeing dragonflies, I'm assuming. So we'll see. I'm going to try it up in Alaska, but
they look the same. Yours is a different color, but yeah, they're on the giant
similar
shopping network people are well familiar with, and you can get 2 for $30 or 1 for 15 Canadian, so even cheaper in the U.S. Obviously.
Yeah, I bought 3 for $13 US.
It's the giant shopping network that people are all familiar with this week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well,
so you might be able to get some deals. Hopefully you got some deals because you probably won't hear this podcast
yeah, right.
until after. Okay, we are way out of bounds, boys
Boy,
and girls.
we are.
We need to,
it's not even close to
we need to rein it back in.
It's the heat.
Okay, I'll take it off.
It is the heat. Oh, so, yeah. Somebody was asking about the day earlier. So today it was 100 degrees and the air conditioning at the office went out. My office has all south-facing windows, south and west-facing windows, so it turned into a sauna. And then the city was doing work on the sewer, and
that's not a good combination.
The sewer backed up. So no AC, sewer backed up. We had fans, open windows. You should not have open windows at a bank, but they were all open. Today would have been the day if you wanted to get a bank. And fortunately, nobody did. It was terrible. We lived through it. I've certainly been hotter, i.e. Brazil, but not at work. that was a mess. So the day was a little bit miserable. I'm, in fact, happy to be back in studio where there is some air conditioning. And yeah, I didn't realize, by the way, that air conditioning is not a thing everywhere.
No, it's not. Like everywhere in the world is what you mean?
Yeah, like Brazil, for instance.
Yeah, we are
no
very
air
spoiled.
conditioning.
Yeah.
At the hotel, there was at the lodge, but yeah, we are spoiled. So, and there's people outside building our bank, our new bank. So I can't whine too much because those guys were working in it all day.
Yeah, they're like
But
Crimea River, bud.
it definitely was cooler outside than it was inside. It was crazy. So, how was you guys' day? Backed up sewers, no AC.
Mine was good. Mine was
Oh,
good.
okay.
103 though. 103 here in Utah. Pretty toasty.
No, thank you.
Nope, I'm with you. I'm done with summer. I am not a fan of summer personally. I know that's probably ruffles some feathers for some people, but I am not a fan of September. Come on, baby. I mean, don't be wrong. I cherish every day. I live in the moment, but I am ready for September for a lot of reasons, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're probably the only one wishing for September.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm actually ready for a couple weeks from now, Ron, where we get to head to the Great White North.
It's going to be the Great Green North.
Great Green North Fair, but it will be a lot cooler.
It will be. And, it'll be a target-rich environment as well.
Very target rich, yes. I'm super stoked to put that 1 to 300 to work.
Just so you guys know, you have talked about this trip before on the podcast.
I know, but we're going to talk about it every day until we go.
Yeah.
No, as you should. No, I don't mean it that
So-
way. It sounds like you're keeping it on the down low, what you're doing.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh,
No
it's
secret.
not on the down low at all. We're going to photograph bears in Alaska, and there is no place I'd rather be in August. I had to put the qualifier on there.
In August, that's right, yeah.
In August.
Good qualifier.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can't wait. This is the first time for me photographing fishing bears, so I'm excited for that. And then we'll go do some other stuff after. Made some contact with a couple photographers up in Alaska and get out and just do some day trips, day hikes, that kind of thing, and just enjoy some relaxation after we get back. Jason, you guys are going to do a whole nother trip after we get back, right?
Yeah, we're going to try to do a little bit there in Anchorage, but we won't be there long enough to really get much out of it. But we are going to head up to Denali for a couple days and go try to photograph some of the amazing doll sheep that we've talked about in previous episodes a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to that. The first time I went to Denali, I did not get the opportunity to photograph doll sheep because nobody would give me any pointers, and I just didn't know the secret. But it's not really a secret. But
Mark's upset with you right now for giving the secret away.
No, I don't think so. It's not a secret anymore.
I think he is. He's like
He's shaking his head.
doing that thing.
I didn't say where it was at. I just said Denali. I knew that there was doll sheep in Denali, and I didn't find any doll sheep. So, yeah. Anyway.
There's only one road.
Yep.
They're through it.
Yeah, right.
There
There
are at least 3 different spots.
Yeah.
That are reachable. I don't know, but
Accessible,
otherwise, because
right.
it's the size of the state of Massachusetts. So, hey,
Yeah.
right?
Right. It's a big place for sure.
Except
They
taller.
might even be up quite a bit up on Denali itself. So, who knows where they're at. So,
Very exciting. Well, it's super smoky here, but something, it comes and goes, the wildfire smoke, but it's shaping up to be an intense summer, and hopefully some rain of significance comes to these regions in the northern Ontario and Manitoba and all the way through to Alaska. There are fires right now. It's, we're kind of getting used to it from summer to summer, but this is turning out to be one of developing concern. And something we should say too is, with the subject of tonight's podcast, you may hear this down the road, and it may seem like, well, why are they talking about, July? Because we're just recording something that is for our producer that he can use when he needs to and fit into the schedule. And the subject matter is timeless, and it doesn't matter when that comes out. But
yeah. Hey, real quick, Mark, do you mind if I just, and I know you guys are all on the same page with this, but just a quick sentiment to the folks in Texas, right, with the tragedy down there and the flooding and that. We have some friends and folks that are not necessarily directly impacted, but in almost directly impacted, and folks that are down there helping in that whole effort to clean up and help find folks and so on and so forth. So just, prayers to those folks. And yeah, we're thinking about you. You guys are in our thoughts. But
it's a sad, nightmarish scene, right?
Yeah, crazy.
Had to happen.
Nightmarish is about the best descriptor that I've heard. It is crazy, and some of the footage that Jason, that you sent us from Ben Masters.
Yeah.
Some of the footage that he showed, and that was right in the backyard.
Yep.
And that river just was destroyed, as were a lot of homes and other facilities. And
the camp, the folks in the camp. Yeah, it's tragedy for sure. So we're thinking about you guys and prayers for sure. There's ways that you guys can, anybody that's listening that wants to, can get involved and either go down and help physically. There's a whole bunch of ways that folks can go, contribute, or you can donate and stuff as well, for sure. It's not hard to find ways to do that. But so anyways.
And that's going to be timeless too, because it's going to take a long time and a lot of resources to put everything back together down there. So.
Absolutely. Yep. Anyways, on a lighter mood, or a lighter note, what are we talking about tonight, Mark?
We're going to do some more listener questions. Last week when I put it out there, so many of you sent in great questions. So thank you. And we'll have fun with a variety of them again tonight on this week's podcast. So we'll get the ball rolling. A friend of the show, a name we might have mentioned more than anybody else on this show. Gentleman who works at this amazing camera store, Picture Line, Colin Bigelow.
He's not allowed to give questions. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like friends and family can't win kind of thing.
Yeah.
His question, if you guys had to eliminate one host. No, it's not.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's an easy one, actually. No.
Oh, was it?
What did you guys stew on that one?
Just joking. That would never happen. At least from where I say it.
Well,
what are you guys saying? So Colin's real question.
What does Colin want?
Colin wants to know what the number one lens for wildlife photography, if we had to choose.
We already pimped it.
Oh, I know, right? So yeah, we'll follow up. I guess that's the one, is it? In your books, I
will tell you after. One. Yeah, I will tell you after August. Before I got this thing in my hands, I would have always said the 200 to 400 with the 1.4 teleconverter built in, even though it was an EF lens and you had to adapt it to the RF camera bodies. Now there's a very good chance the 100 to 300 is going to take over. And it doesn't sound like it should because it's not a long focal length, but when you put the 2X on it and it's just as sharp, I don't know, you guys can go back in my, you can see images that Jason showed. You can go back in my Instagram feed, look at the Pygmy Owl. It's sharp. It is a sharp piece of glass.
You know what would have made that lens perfect?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you?
Oh, go ahead.
No, throw it out there.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
for me, it would have just been a 100 to 400
Oh, stretching
2.8.
this. Okay. Yes, that would be amazing. But what if they kept a piece of technology they had in a previous similar length zoom that other brands have in their big telephotos with the
Mm-hmm.
technology? You guys have talked about how amazing it is with the teleconverters, both the 1.4 and the 2. What if that was built in?
Yeah, that would be perfect. You wouldn't need another lens, and then they would put themselves out of
It wouldn't sell the teleconverters.
jobs. But yeah, no, they wouldn't sell any more lenses.
Yeah, that
But
would be
I no, I
just,
agree. And there is a patent out there for a teleconverter that's supposed to be more photo. Um, oh, let's see. Basically, it will maintain your image quality. That goes from 1.4 to 0 to 2. That's still a rumor. It's still
hmm,
floating around out there. The patent is still filed. Now, not heard any legitimate rumors about it other than that the patent was filed and that may be something that they're looking at, but that they figured out how to basically maintain image quality with a teleconverter and that it was going to switch back and forth between both. And you can just keep it on your lens all the time because it has 0 on it as well.
there you go. Well,
So,
that fixes that too. That'd be pretty
mm-hmm.
amazing. But at the same time, I mean, what you have is outstanding.
Yeah, it's great.
Just dreaming is shooting it for the stars because the technology's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Implementing it would be super cool. Maybe 3 years from now in the next version, but not knocking it by any means.
Yeah,
None of mine have a built-in teleconverter, so it's not like I'm. They're out there though. Cool
they
lens.
are. Yep.
So the 1 to 3 Canon, the new 1 to 300 millimeter 2.8. That's both of you say that's the best for
No, I'm gonna
wildlife.
mix it. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, and I think part of it's just because I need a little bit more time to shoot that lens. I think it could become the go-to favorite lens, the one that I would want to shoot with most of the time, very very easily. But for me right now, it's still the 400 2.8. Just the look and that you get out of that lens is incredible, and it's just been something I've gotten so used to shooting with. And I will say that the 1 to 300 with the 2x on it is a little out of balance and back heavy, and so it makes it a little bit awkward to carry around a little bit. It's not terrible, but it's you got to be careful when you're picking it up by the foot because it could come out the back of your hand if that's that back heavy. With the 1.4 on, it's not really a big deal, but that 2x it really throws that balance off, especially with a and maybe that's my
Battery
problem. If
grip.
I need to take the battery grip off, and it wouldn't be as big a deal. But with the battery grip on it, it's significant. So that's not anything that's game changer by any means, especially if you're shooting off a monopod or a bipod or something. But it is something that's a little bit of an annoyance when you got the 2x on there. So I just need some more time in the field to shoot that, but I think it could very quickly become, my favorite lens and overtake the 400 just because of all the capabilities. The sharpness takes the 1.4, takes the 2.8 to 5.6, all the range that it covers. It's hard to beat all the capabilities that it gives you. So, but for now,
Mm-hmm.
400.
Yeah, I might. That's not part of my kit, honestly, because of all the gear we need to purchase and just the price tag of everything. But if money was no object, the the Nikon 400-2.8 with the 1.4 in it, I think could be a
Mm.
favorite. I mean, the 600 with the 1.4 goes from 600 f4 to I think it's 840, then
Mm-hmm.
5.6, right? And that's even more reach than my 800 PF 6.3, but it's bigger. I've had both side by side, and the 600 is substantially bigger lens. So for packing and it's hand holdable for some people, maybe not everybody, but it was the lady I saw it with was not a big person, and she was doing it fine. Um, But yeah, I in my kit, it's the most used is the 180-6 because of the zoom range, because of its size. I love the internal. The zoom is internal, so the lens doesn't lengthen as you go from 186. It's set focal length that way, and the throw is a big improvement as far as when you turn the ring to do the zoom. It's a lot shorter throw than the 2-5 was. So with the 2-5, I used to turn both my hand that was on the camera body and the hand on the ring to zoom faster at the same time. Whereas this went such a short distance in comparison, that's a big game changer for that lens. And then you can factor other things in. Price is relevant for all of us, well, almost all of us. And the price point of the 186 is super appealing too. So that's my most used lens. I love the 800, but it doesn't fit all applications for wildlife. So, but the 400 to 2.8, Jason, would be for me with the teleconverter on the Nikon ones would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know why Canon stayed away from the built-in teleconverters. I mean, they did. They went the 2-400 does obviously, but I don't know why they didn't keep going with that. It's a great idea and people love it. And I don't know. I wonder if anybody does know. We'd love to hear why they have shied away from it any further. But
Colin,
hey, you know where you can get all of those before, Mark, you sign us off for that question. You can purchase every lens that we talked about at Pictureline. And I'm sure it didn't matter which lens you chose, Colin would be happy to take care of you.
And they have an incredible way of getting a hold of things that some may not be able to get a hold of. Mm-hmm. So
he also, hang on to your pocketbooks, has an incredible way of upselling.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So you can see Colin's work on Instagram at Colin B Photography. And obviously, as we've said so many times, if you contact Pictureline with any questions about camera gear, any queries, Colin is the gentleman to speak to there on our behalf, and let him know you're coming from the podcast. That's an important bit of information for them to realize as well.
There's another reason we always mention Colin too, and I don't know if folks know this. A lot of people do, I'm sure, but Colin's not just a salesman there at the store. He's an active wildlife photographer too. And he loves to get out and photograph in the Tetons and other places too. So he actually has got some really incredible work himself. So like Mark said, go check out his Instagram too, and you'll see what we're talking about. So he actually knows what he's talking about when he's talking to you about these options as well. So,
speaking of your number one lens, you'll want to protect it with this cool product from our sponsor.
Hey, listen in. If you're still strapping your expensive camera to your neck with a flimsy strap that looks like more fashion than function, congrats, you're living on the edge. But hey, if you'd rather not risk turning your camera gear into a pile of broken dreams, then maybe, just maybe, check out Cotton Carrier Camera Carrying System. You can carry on living dangerously, or you can carry gear safe and sound with cottoncarrier.com. While you're in there, use code BTW10 for a 10% discount on anything found on the website. cottoncarrier.com.
Oh yeah, now back to it.
Next question is from Rob Waddell Photography, all one word on Instagram. Rob's question is, what's your go-to tripod head? Gimbal or fluid head?
Wow, I know Ron's is easy, but I know what it is just because most of the time when we photograph together, I'm done and getting back in the car because it's over and Ron's still trying to set up his fluid head.
No, that is a lie.
That's a great question, Rob. Thanks for bringing this up.
Okay, Rob, thank you for asking, and thank you, Mark, for letting Jason go first on that one.
Didn't you nod?
What's that?
Yeah. So didn't you nod?
So Ron gets his set up, films for hours, is ready to get back in the car, and is still waiting for Jason.
Oh. Because why? What have I done?
Well, you're either talking to somebody because you made
Oh.
a new friend, or you forgot where you hid your second body, or you're still shooting because there's still battery, still elk, and still available light.
Just holding that shutter down. Yeah.
One of the three.
Yeah. Fair. That's fair. But there has been some of those moments where scrambling, and we've talked about it. I'm harassing you, but it is difficult with a fluid head and a big setup and a tripod to get out and get set up, and especially when it's a fleeting opportunity. But
Yep.
I'm just harassing you. But no, if I am going to go first, my favorite is a gimbal. And I actually have been shooting. I have a Wimberley and I have the Really Right Stuff. And they're both really, really good. But anymore, I've been just shooting either handheld or from a monopod, 95% of the time. And I used to be a big, big, big proponent of a tripod. And then I kind of moved to a a monopod as things got lighter. And now shooting the 400 and even this one to 300, it's easy to be handheld and get sharp images. And with the capability of the IS, it's hard to not just shoot handheld unless you're going to want to do some video. So for me, it's mainly a monopod or handheld, and that monopod just it's a Really Right Stuff monopod that just has one of the heads that swivel forward and backwards. It doesn't even have a ball head on it, so nothing fancy. But when I do use my tripod, it's a Wimberley or a Really Right Stuff gimbal.
Well, I was just going to say that is easy for me because I'll have a fluid on so that I can shoot both if I'm going to use a tripod. If I'm photographing, I'm probably handheld. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Oh, well, forever I had a ball head, but this is old school stuff. The gimbals were out there, and I just stuck with that. I haven't used that in probably a decade. And as Jason was saying, everything for photos is handheld now, just for mobility and all the advantages that provides. For video, sometimes I try handheld, and if the subject's moving, I can get away with it a bit more. If the subject's static, then there's too much movement. So I do have a Sackler tripod that comes with me on some trips, and it's a fluid head. It was all purchased together with the head and the tripod, and it's carbon fiber and works great. Comes in a sling pack, so it's something that's easy to carry, but it doesn't get a lot of use. But fluid head for video purposes is why I go that way now, or choose that option. So here's a good question from FairFX Mike. That's his Instagram, Mike Fahey. What do you guys do for out-of-country travel insurance, if any?
You want to go first, Ron?
Yeah, my regular insurance covers international travel, so I don't have to change anything.
Really? That's nice. Do you have a separate business policy with them, or is it just all covered under your...
No, it's all under the business policy. Yeah.
Huh.
And it costs a little bit extra, but I'll gladly pay it. Yeah. Yeah, but it's not a real costly add-on. It's pretty reasonable to just add international coverage.
My credit card.
Sorry.
No. All right. That sounds like you need to say it. Go ahead.
And I've never had an accident with the camera when I've traveled internationally. It miraculously always happens when I get back home.
Boy, look out, Alaska. You've just jinxed yourself.
I don't think you understood what I was saying, Jason.
I did understand what you were saying. But I don't think this time around it's going to wait for you to get home.
Well, it's not international. It's okay.
Oh, fair. That's a good point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so we have purposefully selected a credit card that has medical and travel insurance built into the annual fee. That being said, something to pay attention to is how many days it's good for on one trip, consecutive days. They vary, the cards out there. So we've also purchased travel insurance through another company, because if we're away longer, they might only be 14 days, for instance. And if a trip is longer, then there's like a 30-day policy we have with another company. So we have two options. And it wasn't, we're probably due to pay it in the next month or so. So it's been a while since I purchased it. I think it was under $200 or maybe two something for annual. And then you could also do the option for us to like have it as a spousal, have it as a family, not just individual too. So currently you have both options, only due to the flexibility of how long the trip might be. But the cards, a lot of cards do provide that now as part of their lure to attract people to use them. So look at the fine print on there and see about, and international too, about where that might be. If it is actually worldwide, check on that. Good question. There was another one in here too.
Another point to that is there are places within the U.S. that insurance companies will not cover. For instance, San Francisco. The auto thefts are so rampant in San Francisco. I mean, people, while you're driving down the highway, they just smash your window, grab whatever in the back. That if it is a theft from a vehicle in San Francisco, in that particular county, they won't cover it.
Wow.
It's
I never heard that. I've been there many times. It never occurred to me.
There are certain places where it just got so bad that they just quit paying claims. So yeah, be careful of those also while you're traveling, and keep your stuff covered. Don't have it hanging out the window. Don't show it off. Keep it covered and take it with you when you get out of your car.
Out of sight, out of mind.
That's one of the reasons I never decorated my car with like an emblem or photography or any of that to draw the wrong kind of attention to it. And the policies I was mentioning, I don't believe cover my camera gear. I have a separate policy for that, and that changes as insurance policies continue to seem to get reduced. I have to add different, either a new policy or what's the amendment? You have to add another section, a flyer onto it. A rider onto it, yeah. But mine's changed. It used to be that I could drop it, anything could happen to it, and it would be covered. And now it's been changed to a different type of policy. It's a contractor's policy that they've fit these in. It was cheaper that way. They were getting up to, with a small liability rider and the camera gear, it was almost $2,000 a year for that. And I still have other more expensive guiding insurance and stuff. So it's getting to be too much. So I worked them and talked to them about it. And so it was what was called an inland marine policy. That got canceled because it was too much. And it's now a contractor's policy, but it's only good if they're stolen. If I break it, it's not covered. And I also believe that I don't think it's worldwide either. So all these details when getting a quote are, make sure to write down what you're looking for and what you're willing to do. And the deductible is always a big part of it too. As far as what you're willing to accept, if it's 0, 300, 500, 1,000.
Yeah, I just literally went through this, finding an insurance option. If you guys want to hear what mine is.
Yeah, go.
Of course.
I'm just being a smart aleck. Yeah, I literally just went through this. Like, my other one expired, and I had to go find a different one because my current insurance policy did not cover international. And at the time I was doing that, I was paying for a marine rider, and I found an option that does cover me international, and it does cover for theft, breakage, all those things. I did have to itemize my gear, and it's a limited, per incident, as most insurances are. and the deductible is like $500. But if anybody's interested in where I found it's really reasonably priced too, I think it's around 400 US for a pretty good chunk of gear. Just reach out to me, DM me if you're interested, and I'll share what I've found. But
And by a pretty good chunk of gear, he means you don't have that much.
No. What I'm saying, and here's something else to be aware of, Smart Elk. Here's something else to be aware of, and Mark kind of alluded to this, but just because you have this business policy, a lot of people assume that their homeowners will cover their camera equipment if there's a fire or something like that.
Or a computer.
Or a computer, whatever. It will to a degree. Most policies have limits on what they'll cover for that kind of stuff, and like they might go up to camera equipment might go up to $5,000 or something. So if you're sitting on $40,000 of camera equipment and you have a fire and it's all ruined, you may only get $5,000 out of that for replacement. So something else to talk to your homeowner's policy about and be aware of. And when you get the travel insurance for your photography gear, something else to be aware of there too is the limits and how much you want to cover at one time and so on and so forth. So it's not simple, that's for sure. And there's not a lot of options out there that cover international. It was hard to find an international option. So,
well, that's great. That's a good price. That's cheaper than mine. We'll have to chat after.
Yeah, we'll chat.
Mine, I had to pick an amount, and they came up with the annual premium based on how much coverage I wanted. But it also, because of exactly what you say, the homeowners will only cover so much of a computer, and Macs are, silly expensive for some of them. So to have that, it's on there. The computer's on there as well on this contractor's policy as part of the toolkit.
Yeah. And sorry, I just said one more thing that just came to mind. One other thing to be aware of is when you look at the policy for your travelers, don't just assume that it will cover your gear at your home, because some of them are specific that you're traveling and stuff like that, right? So, yeah, just some things to be wary about as I've dug into this and learned a lot over the last couple of weeks. So, sorry, we can move on.
No, that's important. Yeah,
it's hard. It's complicated. A lot of people ask this question, and I haven't found a lot of good answers till recently. So,
yeah, there's so much variability out there. So that, I'm curious to hear the company and that. Mike has a part 2 to the question. And what about out-of-country phone network? What do you guys do with that?
Just pay it.
Yeah.
Right. But so it depends how far you go, right? For me, if I'm in Australia or New Zealand, at the airport, I buy a SIM card, and the deals there are the prices are great, usually, right? For $50, you're set up for the month with enough data and phoning back to North America. Obviously, when you come into the airport, their mindset's on accommodating travelers. So it has the ability to phone back just like we do here, and large data plans. Obviously, Wi-Fi, assuming you've got and this is traveling to places that have good cellular coverage, right? Mm-hmm. Wi-Fi is a good way to go if it's a secure network that way. But I always just switch the SIM card at the airport, and obviously keep the one that I use here in North America to put back in as soon as I land. But a lot of the features, the contact list, all that's in the phone. I don't lose that when I switch SIM cards. So it just picks up, might have a different phone number. So the people that you're contacting would maybe tell them ahead of time so they recognize it.
I'm confused. Sorry. Are you talking like somewhere you wouldn't get service with your existing plan?
Right. So, well, yeah, my plan doesn't work in Australia or New Zealand.
At all. Okay. At all. It doesn't work outside of Canada or just northern North America?
It might, but I don't have that as okay. It'll probably I have a North American plan. So whatever service provider is in the region I'm in North America, my phone switches over, and because I pay for the North American plan, there's no added fee. But to do that as far away as Australia and New Zealand, it may work, but it would be a prohibitive fee for phone calls and data. It won't just use my data plan. So it's far cheaper to pick up a SIM card right at the airport after grabbing the luggage. There's usually options right there. And again, for $50 or $60, I'm set up for the trip. And quick swap in the phone. They do it, you know, they tape your SIM card to the little folding card that comes in, you know, you put it somewhere safe for when you get back home. So that's why I do that.
There is no statistical measure for how fast I would lose a SIM card.
I know that's a fact.
There's no chance I'm coming home with that thing. And the newer phones just have electronic SIM cards, so you don't have one to replace. So
Hold on. What phone are you using?
16, iPhone 16
Really? It doesn't have a SIM card? I have the
has
15.
a electronic SIM card.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you have to somehow like scan their
I-
QR code and it give you another access to their SIM for their.
I'm not sure how that would work. And typically, I mean, even going to Europe, going to Brazil, I just paid an extra $15 for the month that I was down there, and I had coverage and no international fees or anything. So I'm sure it's different for different locations, but South America and Europe were pretty accommodating.
Well, that's smart to
Mine-
ask.
When I went
Sorry.
to Africa, mine just switched over and found the local tower, and there was a charge for international use, like a daily charge, but it was not very prohibitive. And you know, if it found a tower, I had cell and text service, and you know, and data for that matter. I don't know. It wasn't prohibitive from what I could tell, but I've only other time I've ever been in out of service was when a cell phone wouldn't work at all, and then it was, you know, looking at Garmin InReaches or satellite phones or something, right? But Zoleo, any of those options are good for just if you need to get an emergency message out. Spot, Garmin Spot or the InReach, or Garmin InReach or the Spot or Zoleo. There's a lot of options out there, but anymore your phone has that capability built in too. So it's kind of nice. You don't really, I mean, not to be able to text, but actually you can text via satellite now.
Yeah.
So, you know, having one of those devices may not be as critical anymore, as long as you can access a satellite. And so anyways, technology is coming along and it's helping us all in a lot of different ways for sure. But satellite phone, if you need to make a call and you're out in the middle of the boondocks, and it's probably not too expensive to rent one. I know Harlan's done it before. You rent a satellite phone and you can buy 30 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever, and the only time you're going to use it is hopefully if there's just an issue or an emergency. But do you use those, Mark, when you go up in the
we always have
north?
one in the group. Yeah.
Do you? Yeah. I figured you probably did.
If we're out of cell coverage, we do. For the like interior canoe trips, we always have one. Yeah, it's relatively inexpensive, and you know, I know people have had to use them. So in a situation for the money it costs, it's well worth it. And especially when you're in a group. Solo, it doesn't matter. I mean, having that is important. And when we do it, so my buddy Bill, he has one that he always carries, and he'll even like text back to his wife each night, you know, what lake we're on and everything's good. You know, so there's communication that way, which is advisable to do as well. So it's regarding the phone plans. Yeah. So it makes sense to to research the provider you have to see if it's offered, or if they have that travel away from home daily option where it's simply a surcharge of $15 a day and you're set for where you're going. And I just thought of this too, same with, it would be a minor inconvenience, but if you're going somewhere way out of the norm of your travel pattern, to contact the credit card company before you go, so they know, because if they see a handful of charges quickly, there's a chance and this has happened to me not recently, but in years past, where they'll shut it down until I contacted and say it was actually me. But by doing that beforehand, it, takes that out of the equation and would remove that frustration.
It's funny, Mark. I literally just had that happen not too long ago, and I called them, and they must have changed their policy or something. I don't know. Maybe they can tell where I'm at. Maybe they're tracking me with their apps. I don't know. But they literally told me I no longer needed to call, and I think it depends on the credit card company. So I think it's a good thing to just call and check. But the one credit card I was using, they told me I didn't need to call and tell them anymore about when I'm going international or something. So it was kind of interesting, and that was recent. So
I could be old school. I could
call and
be.
find out. No. Call and find out is my point, right? Because I think it could be credit card dependent too. So that's a lot of good advice.
All right. Mitch DeCock sent in a few questions. The first one we'll cover now, and check out Mitch's Instagram. He's got a tremendous variety of large mammals from Western Canada and British Columbia and Rockies. Mitch asks, what is your preferred way to print photos? White border, mats, type of frame, metal. And someone else I can asked about where we like to print. Let me find that, because we can answer that at the same time as our preferred formats.
Mark, you want to go first this time?
Yeah, so London.rose_photography asked, what are the best places to make high quality prints at? So the prints for Mitch, it varies. It's part of the business. It's not a robust part of the business, but it happens, and always grateful when somebody wants our artwork on their wall, on their cottage, on their cabin, on their home, in their condo or corporate, any of that stuff. But that's part of the interest in social media like Instagram, is that people see images and order them. And in that case, it's whatever they want, right? If they're used to photo prints and want to frame it themselves, if they want a canvas stretch ready to hang, all that's made to order. Metal is another one, obviously, and we've talked about this on the podcast in the past. For my decorative interests, metal is by far my preference because of the vibrancy of the reproduction, the ready to hang, lightweight product. I always pay a little bit to have the mounting on the back to keep the metal. I don't think it's a problem anymore, maybe, but it used to be that they would bend over time.
Oh, no, they'll bend.
Okay, so the metal on the back keeps them flat, so it's framed that way, and it's usually an extra $30 or $40 perhaps to have that come with it. And I just love HT metal. But even with metal, there's variety of looks and finishes now. So HD is the one that I prefer, but I also like canvases. But if I'm given a choice, it's metal, just because of the vibrancy. And I'll quickly finish on the places I order. Depend on proximity to the client. So I don't have a printer in my backyard kind of thing for these size and quality reproductions that I require. So I do drop shipping. And what that is I order it online from companies I work with regularly and have an account with, and they create the product and ship it directly to the client. And you can choose whether it's just an unidentifiable wrapping, I guess. But it's, at one time there was one that had a corner damaged, and this is really rare. I just say this to emphasize how good these companies are, that they immediately printed another and shipped it to the client and fixed that. And it wasn't obviously due to a problem when it was printed. It was in shipping. And some of them as well, the shipping materials they put their metal prints in are just incredible. They're so well packaged. And I'm sure the canvases too, given the sensitivity of that product. And so in the U.S., and we had them on the podcast years ago. It was very interesting to hear about how they work their business. So Artbeat Studios out of LA is who I use. I do know other photographers that use is it Bay Photo in San Francisco is another one. In Canada, I've been using Poster Jack in Toronto, and for any of the drop ship to client stuff. So that all depends on, that's an international border too, right? So I don't order from Artbeat for a customer in Alberta because then it's subject to duty crossing the border and adds a fee of some significance that neither myself nor the person purchasing it wants to have to pay. So I that's why I select print companies in the country of the client, and it's just some research. If it's somebody in Australia or in the UK, then it's a matter of just researching the reviews on these companies on their websites, or even not on their website. Just Google to review the company and see what comes up. But Artbeat, when they send a metal, it's in wood framing, right? A big metal. It's impressive.
It's very
Last
well
time
protected. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the metal. Metal used to be my absolute favorite, but depending on the image, I was introduced to Tony Eitzel through Gallery 6 in Denver, Colorado. And Scott Wilson, who's a guy that we had on previous podcasts, we'd like to have back on this one again at some point, went in and partnered up with a few guys in Colorado to open up Gallery 6, which is downtown in the art district. Beautiful location. So I went in there to visit, and Tony has a very unique, he prints on cloth, and he's got a very unique printing style. And then the framing style is incredibly reasonably priced. He just floats it on a backer board, and it's in a, kind of a poly type frame. It's not true wood, very lightweight. But he prints on the cloth and then he tears the cloth. And so you have a torn edge that is exposed, and it's just on a, like I said, like a gator board or a poster board is the way that it's mounted. The issue is it's almost ship prohibitive because the ink that's used is kind of a powder ink and it rubs off very easily. So in transport, these things can get rubbed, and so I don't think he even ships just because he doesn't want to have the liability. But they're beautiful, beautiful prints. It's kind of a powder matte finish, no glass required. It's just exposed cloth, and I've had no problem selling those. People love them when they see them, and I don't have any left, so I've got to put in a pretty healthy order for this fall. But Tony does a fantastic job of printing, and you can reach him at tonyeitzel.com. Well, hang on, let me make sure I give it that. Yeah, Tony at tonyeitzel.com, EITZEL, or you can look up Gallery 6 in Colorado and find them there. But it's just it's my favorite, but it can't be a real dark image because it doesn't show the same. So if it's a darker image, I always resort or kind of fall back into metal for sure, because it's still going to show that detail, still going to have that shine, and you can still see your subject. But everything else, I just love that process, and I don't know anywhere else that you can get it.
I'm boring.
Stop.
Pretty much ditto. I don't use Ron's process at all. That's very unique. That sounds cool. I might have to try that next time I'm over there, actually. But I use Bay Photo almost exclusively. They've been really good to me. A couple of pointers maybe I'll just add that hasn't been brought up yet. When you're going to start printing, make sure that you have a color calibrator for your monitor. And then also make sure you get a hold of the color profile from the print shop. And then you can also have them print you some samples. Most shops will do that. And verify that you're going to get the result that you want before you start drop shipping to customers, if that's what you're doing. I prefer metal for the same reasons Mark mentioned. Sometimes I like the floated framed metal. I think that's a pretty cool look, a little heavier, but it's got a really nice look to it. But just a regular metal anymore is real solid, and their customer service from a lot of these shops is second to none. Like Mark said, I've had one case because it doesn't hardly ever happen. I think it got damaged in shipping. There were some scratches on the actual face of the print, and I had the customer send them a picture, and they literally had another one printed and expedited to them within 2 days. Mm-hmm. So they are excellent when it comes to customer service. Now, you pay a little bit more than you will if you're going to print from Costco or something like that, Walmart, whatever. But to me, it's worth it because I want to make sure that customer is getting exactly what they expect, what I expect that they would get. So,
yeah, that's a great answer. And the size, something I do is I make sure the size of the file I send is the same dimensions as the print. I upsize it here and do that with a TIFF, and then create the JPEG, 16-bit TIFF preferably, and then make the JPEG and send it the exact dimensions that I'm ordering.
I think Bay Photo will take TIFFs and stuff too now. I think.
Sure. Yeah, I bet they would. Right.
I mean, print them just from the TIFF. Yeah, but not that you need to. JPEG print's fine, but yeah.
So guys, what do you think? We're at 55 minutes.
Yeah.
We're good.
Those are awesome questions. Yeah, I think so.
I've got a bunch more, so stay tuned. More listener question episodes coming up, and it's always fun to hear, and it causes some reflection for us too. So thank you, everybody. And whether or not this airs before your bear trip, I am so excited for you guys, and I know what a phenomenal time you had last time, Jason. It'd be 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah, 2 years. So
yeah, those images are, we've used this word in this episode already. They're timeless. They're some of the best ever of fishing bears on salmon and the action. So, being able to revisit that, I think is cool, right? When you have a place, the first time that you go and you hope it's a phenomenal trip. There are always variables that can get in the way. Persistence in going back can help with that. I think I've told stories of people who've done various tours in the past that, the first one hasn't been necessarily a home run, but it, with persistence has been. Jason's was. But now he has, such a great portfolio. It's going to be fun to see how that affects, from my perspective, his thought process on this next trip, and what he's looking for and what he might do differently given this opportunity to add to the experience. And that's just, hoping, fingers crossed, that all the elements that fell into place the first time do again, as far as light and weather and opportunity. But I'm super excited for you guys. And you going together I wish I was going along and feel it. And Ron, it's your first time doing this, right? For the fishing bears. So
for the fishing bears, yep.
Yeah, it'll be. You've done coastal bears before in Katmai, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So this will
on
be
that side.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear the stories, and obviously, we're going to have an episode on Beyond the Wild podcast about fishing bears with Ron Hayes and Jason Loftus coming your way. That'll be fun.
We might have just a full episode on camping
that's cool.
with Ron and Jason.
Right. We're going to hope that's not the case, but
and we'll be talking about tent pegs again, right? Okay. The TP.
Cranks in the field.
I hadn't surfaced in my mind yet. I'm going to miss out on that.
You better
I look forward
mentally
to hearing.
and emotionally prepare for that, Mark.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I already have been. Trust me.
We've got, I'm looking forward to when we can all do the trips we've been talking about, and I'm hoping the one that we've talked about for next winter comes to fruition.
I'm
for
down.
all the right reasons. So I'm gonna try to make it easy for you guys and get it together. But in the meantime, yeah, what an amazing place to go experience. So live it up. And thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Wild podcast. You can see more of Beyond the Wild on our website. Please feel free to check that out. There are images for all the episodes. If you've listened to an episode that might be your favorite or have favorites, but haven't gone to the website, there are more photographs there from guests, from what we've been talking about, than obviously you would have seen on an audio listen. And even on YouTube, we have a lot that's added on YouTube for the enticement to watch, but there's quite a bit on the website too. Guys, fun as always. Thanks again, everybody, for listener questions. Have a fantastic week. I hope you have the opportunity to get out and to photograph. Stay cool, and we'll see you again next week. And that's a wrap for another episode of Beyond the Wild podcast. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Pictureline.com, your online source for everything photography, and Canon USA.